All right, look, if you've heard the show before, you know what I'm about to say. We got a Patreon. If you want to support the show financially in any way, we don't do ads, we don't do anything like that. All the operating costs from this are supported by our Patreon, so please go to patreon.com/late night to support us over there. Every week we put up video versions of the episodes. Those are always really fun. You get to see the guests and us, and sometimes interesting visual things happen. And also every week, if you sign up at the 2 peach tier or above, it's either 1, 2, or 3 peaches, you get a mini episode. This past week, Leighton and I discussed the movie Oppenheimer. Was it a Boppenheimer or a Floppenheimer? Go to patreon.com/Leighton Night to find out. Enjoy this episode.
Abby, your house is beautiful. I just
Thank
love
you so much.
Everything that I see.
Thank you. What's fun is it's pretty small. It's just a studio, but I feel like this angle makes it look humongous.
It does. Fun. This is also a studio and is a lot more visibly a studio.
I mean, it looks pretty big to me. Can't see your bed, which is always hard to do in a studio.
Yeah, it's a luxury. I see art right above I see a lot of art, but there's a little frame right above your head, and I can't tell what it is. What is that?
The cats on a chessboard. That one was a gift.
Wow.
Oh, now I can see them. Yeah, those are cats on a chessboard.
Are you a big chess person?
Yeah, I haven't played as much as I used to. I mean, I think like everyone, I got really into it during Queen's Gambit season. So I was playing quite a bit after then. And then I just sort of dropped off. I think once the world opened up, I was like, I don't need to be playing chess online every day. I can go outside.
Did you do, not to plug anything, chess.com? I did chess.com for, yes. I think I still have a recurring subscription I haven't canceled. But it was fun.
I like chess.com.
Getting trounced by their cheeky little bots is
my
humiliating.
God. Yeah. Well, also
Tom
because
just wrecked your shit.
Like their names and everything. It's like the fact that it doesn't just say computer, but they give them human names makes it more humiliating.
It's to make you feel bad.
Don't they have ones that are like chess experts though? Chess pros? I think you could play against the girl from Chess's Gambit. No, Queen's Gambit. I think she was like an AI bot you could play against.
Oh, really? Like,
yeah.
That actually might make me feel a little better. Like it's actually a human being.
It doesn't disturb you more that it's like the digitized strategy of a real and now dead person that you're losing to?
No, you know what? Honestly, I think it somehow that's better to me because I can picture who was it? Anya Taylor-Joy who played her? Wasn't that it? Yeah, I can picture. She seems smarter than me. I can picture her beating me in chess.
We all want to picture her beating us in chess.
Yes.
Come
on. I got into chess.com because my daughter was into chess for a hot minute, and so we would sign up and they do they have a little daily puzzle and things like that, and she was very, very into it.
Has Audrey ever beaten you at chess?
Well, look, I'm not. What to say here? Yes, but after I took back a bunch of moves and removed 90% of my pieces. So am I going to call that? Look, I agreed to the rules. I got beaten fair and square, but I don't know. Somehow I don't think that would be, what is it? FIDE certified as a victory.
Hi, okay, a different question. Are there any games that she like consistently beats you at without you throwing?
I mean, any kind of emotional manipulation comes to mind. Like that, I can't win.
Yeah, but I can't like buy emotional manipulation in a box if I wanted to. That's our new grift.
How old is your daughter? I like to imagine she's like 20.
I am technically old enough to have a 20-year-old. She's 9.
Okay.
So she is. She is a what shall we say? A dramatic child and fully willing to use every weapon in her arsenal to make I don't want to make it seem too calculated because she's just like a funny, quirky 9-year-old, but she also will 100% go there in order to, ratchet up the drama. So I think she's doing that thing that so many kids do where, her middle-class suburban life is maybe not as dramatic as the stuff she sees on TV. And so she needs to find reasons to really turn it up. The other day, I told you about the fish, Layden.
The fish.
Did I tell you this? So she came home from. I think
yes,
I
you did
this.
tell me about the fish.
So I'll fill this in, Abby. She came home from camp the other day, and she said some 5-year-old brought his fish to the pool and let it go in the pool, and now the fish lives in the pool. And I was like, okay, really? Yes, really. All right. So I was like, well, I don't know, but I could see the fish living in the pool for a short period of time, but it's a chlorine pool. Doesn't seem hospitable to a living creature. Indeed, that being the point of chlorine. So yesterday, she comes home from camp and she says, I saw the fish. And I was like, you saw the fish? Yes, I saw the fish. You really saw it? I think I saw it. Okay, you think you saw it? Yes, I think I saw it. It lives in the bottom of the pool. And the lifeguards say it comes out to bite kids. And I was like, when do they say that? When you have to get out of the pool? And she's like, yes. When it's time to get out of the pool, they tell us about the fish that lives in the pool and comes out to bite kids if they don't get out. I was like, honey, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but there's no fish that lives in the pool. The underpaid teenagers who are lifeguarding just want you to get the fuck out of the pool because it's time to get out of the pool. So, but in her mind, she lives in she goes to camp in a shark-infested pool where she's in mortal danger constantly. So, it's
Abby,
exciting.
did you have any of those things as a kid that you were like disproportionately afraid of? Sort of like the, my bathtub drain is going to eat me. The fish only come out to bite me if I need to get out of the pool, etc.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything. I don't know. I think I went to summer camp. So we had the summer camp I went to. It was like a sleepaway camp. Mm-hmm. And there was like lakes and pools and whatnot. So there's a small kind of lake, almost like a little swamp type of small lake that we could like do the rope swing into, and like you could do like a little bit of kayaking in, but it was pretty small, and there were snapping turtles at one end of it.
Oh my God.
So that is a more legitimate fear, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah. Snapping turtles will fuck you up.
Oh yeah. I had a friend we got like stuck in the marsh, and my friend fell out of like her little kayak and then like panicked ran into mine. And it was like a whole to-do because we were afraid of the snapping turtles. But I think there were actually snapping turtles. That wasn't just a loose threat.
Did you go to camp in like upstate New York?
No, I went to camp. This was called Camp Fitch. It's owned by the YMCA. It is outside of Ohio. It's on Lake Erie.
Cool.
Yeah.
I also went to a YMCA camp, but in upstate New York.
Did they so our camp did this thing at the end of like the week of camp that I didn't think much about it as a child, but now as an adult, I'm like, I don't know what this is, and it seems insane. Where at night we would go walk through the woods, and I think we would basically go to like a church ceremony, and then they would all have us have candles. So I was excited because you get to hold a candle, which like as a kid you don't get to do very much. And then you stood in like a giant triangle holding candles.
No.
Did you also experience this, or
no,
was I in a cult?
We did have actually a big part of the camp, which was, by the way, I mean, it was YMCA nominally. It was, there were people there from all over the world. It was definitely multi-faith, and it was in New York. So it was like a decent mix of non-Christian people, including a lot of Jewish kids. But we had a hymn sing and chapel every Sunday. So Sunday night it was an hour, maybe more even, and the whole camp gathered in like there was a big kind of performing arts barn, and they had 3 pianos, and I was a pianist at this regularly, at least by the time I was older. And they had a hymnal, and they would give the kids, hymnals, and we would sing church hymns. So no candles, but definitely like Christian stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, my church was, I think, or not my church, my camp, like my family didn't go to church, so I assume there were religious people there, but we were not a part of that. So I'm not sure what the deal was with all the church stuff at the YMCA camp, but maybe that's just how they go.
And I wonder how much it holds up now, too. Like, sure. As people are, you know, at least the one I went to, it was not like a conservative place by any stretch of the imagination, at least that I was aware of as a kid. So do they still have that and chalk it up to tradition and you just buy into it if you're going to be a part of the camp or not? Like, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
I mean, so I, being a non-church going child, except when I was staying with family, which over summers it would be like a few weeks at a time, and then it would be like, we're going to church 3 times a week, which always very fun when you were a non-Christian coming into the situation. But I did vacation Bible school many summers in a row, which is just like indoctrination, but make it a musical. And you get a fun t-shirt. I'm not even like making that up. It's like there's a different theme every year, and it going down from like the preschool level to like 10-year-olds. It's actually like a pretty incredible, efficient little machine where it's all set up like a summer camp and you get your snack and whatever. And then they do the like, or do you accept our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Now sing a song about God. And you learned your little dance moves and you did a show at the end. But I did that every year, and then I kept doing it once I like aged out of it because they let me be one of the like, quote unquote staff. And it just meant that me and my cousins would get walkie-talkies and we got to run around this whole church like running errands and shit. And it was great. I didn't love what we were there to do per se, but much like handing a child a candle, a child unsupervised with a walkie-talkie is like the greatest freedom in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was also it was a big mega church in the middle of nowhere, and there was like a whole old wing.
Was this in North Carolina?
This was in Georgia.
In Georgia.
There was this whole old wing after they had like upgraded the church or whatever. So it was like a big empty chapel and like storage. And so there was just all these places to go and hang out. And you got as much snack from the snack station as you wanted. And you got to watch the incredibly depressing sight of like a bunch of preschoolers trying to reckon with Jesus suffering and dying for their sins.
Speaking of that, yesterday, my daughter says to me, she was like, Daddy, I don't really like being Jewish. And I was like, well, let's talk about this. So what don't you like about being Jewish? Which, by the way, she isn't really, because I'm not really. Like, and she said, well, I don't like the part about how Jesus died and, and all that stuff. And I was like, honey, that's explicitly not the Jewish part. Like the Jewish part stops it goes right up until that, and then it stops. And I think that made her feel a little bit better about her Jewish heritage. So yeah, that's one of the pluses of Judaism is you don't have to deal with the suffering of Jesus because he was just some guy.
What a bizarre I was thinking about the whole now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take, which I said every night before bed for most of my childhood.
Is that a real prayer?
Why do we... Yes. Okay. Why don't we teach kids that?
I do think a lot of prayers, I don't know, I didn't grow up in like a religious household. We went to church very occasionally with like some parts of my family, but we weren't religious. But it is weird going to some of those churches where people like stand up and chant. And that's like the whole service is like the chanting. I always find it fascinating. I always forget that like prayers are not just like, hey, say whatever you want to say to God. It's therapy. It's like, no, you have a script you're going to follow. And this is what God listens to.
God's taking notes.
And a significant portion of these prayers include, by the way, I'm a piece of shit. And sorry for being so awful all the time.
I am inherently bad. This is not creating any sort of nascent, undeveloped later mental illness that's going to be an issue for me. This is not going to exacerbate those symptoms and make me think that those symptoms are just what's supposed to happen because God's mad at me.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. I only was thinking about that last night because I made a joke about now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my whole to keep, and then just had a moment where it was like, this is what happens when you really try hard to make a child be religious, is they grow up to be a blasphemer.
Yes. but I wouldn't have it any other way. Leighton, I'm glad you're a Blasphemer.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
I enjoy
Yes.
it a lot.
It's fun. I think we should introduce the show.
This is a really great
Here.
and welcoming way to get people to like, you've never listened to this show before. Welcome. This
Yes.
is a terrible way to start an episode.
Welcome to yet another discussion of holes on Leighton Night.
Yeah.
Everybody, speaking of that, this is Leighton Night with Brian Wecht. My name is Brian Wecht. Over here, we have, as always, Leighton Gregg.
Whole expert, Leighton Gray.
Yes, noted hole expert, Leighton Gregg.
Mystery guest who is already being so patient with us. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Abby Russell, and I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. What
Yeah,
might people
same.
know you from being online?
So I streamed to Twitch, but I started my career at Giant Bomb, and then later I was a creative producer and writer at G4, and I still create content about video games online.
That's great.
Wonderful. We're very
Yeah.
glad to have a fellow gamer in our midst here. It's always the coziest episodes for me when, there's an understanding that we are all gamers.
Of course.
Well, I was actually curious. I was looking at your website, and I noticed there was some article about horror games. So,
Oh, sure.
Streaming horror games. And I know, so I am not much of a horror gamer, but Leighton recently wrote a horror game.
Ooh, cool.
So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
that I'm wearing the shirt for right now that you can't see because it's so
I can't
tiny.
see. Is that a homebody shirt?
It is a homebody
You
shirt.
guys have homebody shirts?
Yeah, we do, and we have
Wait, get it,
bas-
show
we
show
have
this thing off. Does it say anything on the
bas-
back?
It does, but I can't. My dog is asleep on my lap, and I'm maintaining this like tenuous truce so she doesn't bark while we record.
Okay, no, fair enough.
I
fair enough.
promise you, it's cool, and we also have hot dogs that say "bastard" on them. So,
Do you
if
really?
wanna-
I didn't know about this.
They're
This
little
is great.
pins. The grift,
Where-
the grift keeps moving, whether you're aware of it or not, Brian.
Where can I get a homebody shirt? Where can I buy a
Probably
homebody shirt?
GameGrumps.com? Question
Probably.
mark? I don't know.
Okay, somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, I'm gonna rip off the design and put it on my Redbubble. So anyone
sick.
who's interested in a homebody shirt should go through that, so I get paid and not the.
I'm just going to tweet about how much I want one, so a bot comes in and says, buy the shirt here.
That's right.
wow, does that still happen on the
Oh,
website
yeah.
x.com?
Oh.
I think the year
It's-
2023.
Yeah, that's the only people who are tweeting there now. The bots, the t-shirt bots.
Yeah, it's just going to be all the bots talking to each other in one endless circle until they all form together into a super intelligent singularity. Why not?
Power of X.
All they do is make shirts and tweet porn links. It's what Elon wanted.
Those-
Brian, you had an actual question that I derailed.
Yeah,
with
my question was,
self-promotion.
Leighton, can you ask Abby a question about horror games?
Oh, you're going to pass
Yeah.
the buck? Well, you're the
Yeah,
one who
well,
said
you-
that you looked at an article that she wrote about horror games. I didn't see
No,
this
it was
article.
an article. It wasn't one that you wrote, right? It was one that mentioned you as a.
It was like
a
streamers,
streamer.
horror streamers to watch or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Look,
It's on the press page of my website. You gotta really
that's
take
the
it where
one.
you can get it.
So my question just was, horror games. Which ones do you like? Which ones did you stream? Experiences, that sort of stuff.
Ooh. I mean, my favorite horror games to stream, I had like a whole horror feature at Giant Bomb. I did it with Vinny Caravella, my old coworker, where I would play a different horror game like leading up to Halloween for 6 weeks. Once a week, I would play a different one.
Cool.
And my favorite ones were always like the jankiest, kind of shittiest horror games that just was like jump scare after jump scare. And one season we did all like 2-player horror games, and they were all the most like low rent horror games. There's this one where this sort of scary woman was going around scaring you. I wish I could remember what it was called, but I can't. But she
I call that Late Night with Brian White.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
But she would like, if you got captured by her, you would turn into like a little doll, and suddenly you would be like a doll running around. And we didn't know that was going to happen, so I've now spoiled it if you're going to, play that game.
Play the
But
game
it
that we
was-
don't know what it's called.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite a fun surprise. But I don't know. I really like. I mean, there's obviously like very good games. I think nothing beats PT, which is I think the best
Sure.
horror
Yeah.
game. Not only like is it just a good solid game, but also the lore around it is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It
you
turned
actually
into
play-
like this lost media thing very quickly,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
the number one thing you can do to a horror thing to make it even better.
100%.
And
yes.
wait, have you both played PT? I never have.
Yes. Oh
I
yeah.
personally played like a couple of loops of it and then stopped. This
I've only
was years
watched
ago.
videos. Yeah.
It's so scary. I've played it a few times. One time, I think it might have been like the first game I played for the horror feature I did at Giant Bomb. Yeah, that game is so scary every single time.
I love watching like videos that do behind the scenes of like AI in horror games like
yeah.
Alien Isolation and Resident Evil. And I love that like Lisa is always behind you, that like when you turn the camera around, she's always there. That's fucked up. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
So something that I've been thinking about in having watched streamers play Homebody, which is very much, it's interesting to me the way that there is a certain type of game that is really, really good for people who stream horror games, and it is the kind of like low rent stuff that you're talking about, like the really silly like Poppy Playtime, whatever, you know, not to cast aspersions on that, but it's a very specific type of horror game that is very popular and is very easy to get big reactions out of, whereas Homebody is a much different type of game that requires like, you know, it's not as easy to like talk shit over and everything else. But I'm curious like what the most engaging horror game experience playing on stream with your audience has been. Like, has there been something that really stands out to you as like you're having a great time and chat is also responding really well to it?
Oh gosh, what a fun question. I mean, I think for a lot of those streams with Giant Bomb, they were pre-recorded, so they weren't live streams. It was like a pre-recorded video, but we did get to see people's reactions afterwards. I mean, I think for something like that, I don't know. I mean, I've played a lot of Resident Evil games on stream, and those are always fun because it's a good balance of scares and just sort of fun action. I think some of the best horror games, though, are ones where people typically know when the scares are coming, so they can be excited for you. Or, you know, actually what is a really good one for streaming is Phasmophobia, or any of those cooperative ones where it's sort of like, it's different every time you play. I think the audience can get really invested in it. You have sort of an easy goal you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, those games are pretty good for streaming.
Yeah, I think I would imagine that even though it's truly like a horror themed game, but not a horror game is like Dead by Daylight, just because of the dynamic cooperative, like you never really know what's going to happen. I think that's kind of a fascinating thing that we've gone from single player horror to these like co-op, very party game focused horror experience. Like I love that. That's how I feel it should be. Like that's the natural progression of, you could watch a stupid scary movie with your friends at night with the lights off, or you could be playing a game with them and get spooked and then drag your friends that you know are easily scared, which is always the best part.
What was the turning point for that? Like, is there one game you can point to that was the big kind of watershed?
I mean, this is sort of a different type of thing, but something I thought of was Until Dawn, which I think was like, it's a single player game, but you like pass the controller. It's very much like great with friends, because sort of a campy horror movie where you're going in and you're kind of picking your choices and like characters are dying. That's another really good one for streaming with an audience. But that one, and then all of their later games, I think, have a co-op element to it because it was so, I guess, well received playing with friends for the first one. But that's sort of a different type of game than what you were talking about. But that was what I first thought of.
And I also feel like the huge boom of Among Us during the pandemic, I feel like has broken, you know, because Phasmophobia came out after Among Us, ? But I feel like
Among Us technically came out a long time ago.
It did, yeah. And did not become popular until pandemic era.
Right.
But I think that will probably be, in hindsight, like a bit of a watershed moment for the kinds of intensely streamable and contentable horror games. Not horror games, but, you know, games.
I also think just having people like playing the game in a group who are dying and can no longer talk to the other people is like a really powerful mechanic.
Yeah, because it's so simple. And requires like this certain level of role playing and commitment, like that I could never get super into it because lying to my friends sucks. Like I'm not like a big
that's
D&D
my favorite thing
person. Yeah, of course. But yeah, I think there is a certain type of person who really thrives in the sort of showmanship of that type of game.
So you, for example, hate werewolf / mafia, that kind of thing, Layden?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, it's just not really my bag.
I love it. I think it's so fun.
I love it too. because I love lying to people when it's acceptable.
When
right?
it's socially
I agree.
acceptable for you to lie and permissible for you to lie.
1,000,000%. It's yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
I love lying to people, and I love accusing people. I think
Yes.
it's so fun
Oh, yes.
to just be like, everyone's the killer, and I'm going to tell you why, and just derailing every game.
I'm just thinking about this now, but one of the reasons I think I love it is I'm not conflict avoidant, but I'm not particularly confrontational in my everyday life. This podcast, by the way, listeners to this podcast will disagree with me saying this, but this is what I'm about to say actually backs this up. When it comes to like interpersonal conflict, I'm not going to like get into it every time. I'm not going to be the type of person who's like, hey dude, you shouldn't have left that window open or whatever, and what I don't know what window I'm talking about or who that guy that left it open is. But I love the ability to be in an environment where you're like, the whole point is to create conflict and within an acceptable framework where
Creating petty conflict, which is
yes.
where you thrive.
Well, indeed, everything about me is petty, as people know. But I love, like, if you're playing, let's call it Werewolf, so I don't have to keep saying Werewolf Mafia. If you're playing Werewolf, the whole point is to, like, get out there and start shit or defend yourself as someone who doesn't like to start shit, and often doing both of those at the same time. And it's so fun to have an excuse to sort of be an asshole and then have everybody be like, yay, that was fun. So, which is why I do this show also.
Yeah, you need once the mic is on, you have full license to be mean to me.
Me? I've never been mean to you in my life.
Don't do this.
Wait,
Don't.
Mean? Me? I do take exception to mean.
Are you seeing this, Abby?
Mean?
This is.
I'm
Look, I'm a neutral party,
gracious.
okay?
I'm a gracious co-host.
Indeed, you are, Brian.
Yes,
Abby,
I agree with you.
I'm curious. I feel for any gamer, there's always the formative early gaming experiences in your childhood. What were those big ones for you?
I mean, I grew up playing games, but I think the ones that really like mattered to me and was like, oh, I care about this. My sister and I would play a ton of Mario Party on the Nintendo 64, specifically Mario Party 2. So it was like summers playing Mario Party was very fun, and we would like try to unlock all of the mini games and everything. They had like this weird like stump tower you could go up and like, because there's not a lot of like, achievable stuff in Mario Party. It's a party game. So the few achievable things we could do, we were very into, and we were very into Perfect Dark and sort of that era of gaming. And then I remember when I got my DS, it was like I saved up holiday money and birthday money, and I got it myself. And I don't even think I had a game at first. I just had like the Metroid demo. And eventually I got so many games for it because they came out with so many. And the big one for me was Animal Crossing, which I think it was Wild World at the time.
Wild World
yeah.
was the DS
So that
one.
was like, I remember holidays, like New Year's, spending in Animal Crossing. That was big. That was also the first time I played a game that was like Animal Crossing, where it was just like you live in the world, it's real time, Yeah, that's a lot of good memories in Animal Crossing.
It's nice to encounter another Wild World enjoyer, because that is my number one favorite and will always be in the Animal Crossing series. Because, I had a similar thing where I got a Nintendo DS and then like a handful of games. I definitely liked playing my little computer games before that, but it was my first like console, and that and Nintendogs and like
Oh yeah.
Sitting on neighborhood kids' trampolines and all playing Nintendogs or like doing PictoChat back when that was a thing are truly like some of my most positive childhood memories.
Tell me about.
I totally agree.
I don't know Nintendogs, probably due to my advanced age.
Wow.
Describe Nintendogs to me. So can I guess that it's a game about dogs from Nintendo? Did I get that part
Good
correct?
work.
Okay, great.
It's
great.
I don't know about you, Abby, but the sound design in that game like will ring through my head forever of just hearing Lucky, Maxwell, Daisy all the time for no fucking reason.
Doesn't work for me. I don't remember this at all. Maybe I was playing on mute.
Are those 3 dogs, or is that the name of one dog?
It was 3 dogs, because the thing is, so Nintendogs was you open it up and you adopt a little dog, and each game was a different it was a different breed. So I personally had Nintendogs Chihuahua and Friends.
Me too.
And now I have a real Nintendog Chihuahua and Friends.
There she is.
What's her
and so
name?
her name is Maybe.
Oh, very good.
But you adopt your dog, you name it, and because the DS had a little microphone on it, you would get, it would use like voice commands. So you would train your dog and like teach it to sit and do tricks, and you would brush it, and then you go on little walks. And when you go on walks, you could pick up presents. And if your friends had Nintendogs, your dogs could play together. And also there were like agility competitions with two very iconic announcers to the competition that in hindsight I'm like, they were kissing, right? But excellent game, like perfect basic little, like, if you're a kid, you can have 4 dogs, and there were all these toys and costumes, and it was just, you play with your little digital dog.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sort of more fleshed out, like Tomodachi or Tamagotchi. I always forget because there's Tomodachi Life, right, which I also love, which is 3DS.
Yeah.
Perfect game. But yeah, I do remember with Nintendogs, like as your like relationship with the dog built up, you can go for longer and longer walks. So it would be a thing where I would like level my dog up so much that I'd be like, this walk needs to end. It is too long. And I would just be like, I picked up so many presents. Yes, it's like, please, this is taking forever. But otherwise, perfect game.
When you because you can pet your dog with the little stylus, and if they like it, you get little sparkles, and it was really cute. I remember.
What determines if they like it?
Because they're a dog programmed to enjoy it when you pet them.
Do they ever not like it? I guess is the question I'm asking. If I was playing it, what could I do to get the dog to not like it is the specific question.
There's an item you can get where you could get little Mario Kart RC cars if they were like really rare, and if you repeatedly drove them into your dog, they would hate it. And I know this because I did it on accident several times, and then when they yelp, I would cry.
That rules.
But I remember my best friend also had Nintendogs, and she had Lab and Friends, but she wanted to name one of her dogs Angel, and it was her first dog that she got on our save, but she spelled it wrong, and so the dog's name was Angle. And it was my little Chihuahua Orlando playing with her dog Angle.
Orlando and Angle? That's fantastic. Yeah. So wait, the actual cartridge you got would be a different breed of dog? Like there are different
versions of the game, and there would be like in Chihuahua and Friends under the umbrella is that like it's mainly Chihuahuas, and then you could get like some
other types of dogs.
But that would be a different like DS cartridge than the other breeds.
The Chihuahua one has Chihuahuas and a few other types, and then like the Labrador one would have Labradors and a few other types.
I see.
So I don't know if there would be overlap in the sort of sub dogs, but you would have like a few main ones, and then I feel like because I had the Chihuahua one too, and I want to say I had like a Rottweiler, but that seems like a wild one to have with the Chihuahua.
Yeah. We gotta look this up. Excuse me.
So I've been thinking about what one was one of my favorite spoiler, Nintendo DS games, which was The Sims 2 or 3.
I played Herbs. Did you ever play Herbs Bustin' Out?
No. Oh my god, that's such an iconic cover though. Like when I think about GameStop, I think about that.
That orange, yes.
Yeah, but this Sims game that I was so obsessed with, I think it was Sims 2 for Nintendo DS, because it wasn't like a mainline Sims game. It was like a weird offshoot, and it was just like a fucking weird game.
Oh, I see.
It had very strange vibes.
Yeah, like Game Boy Advance and like 3DS Sims games were all like weird. It was like they have like weird lore. I recently watched all these videos about them because I found them fascinating. But they have all this weird lore. I loved those games though.
Yeah. What I'm thinking about is Sims 2 on Nintendo DS, because one of the first things that comes up is a Kotaku article called The Sims 2 on Nintendo DS is haunted. Valid. Just there's something about I remember I would wake up before school really early in the morning so I could play Animal Crossing before I went to school, and I saw like, every once in a while you can see a UFO, and I was really afraid of aliens, and I saw one, and I slapped my DS down and hucked it under my bed. And I did the same time anytime aliens showed up in Sims 2, because if you time traveled, the game knew and would send aliens after you for cheating. And as somebody who time traveled aggressively in Animal Crossing, it was a real thorn in my side where I was afraid to open the game.
Does time travel mean reset the clock on the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Changing the system clock so you can get shit faster.
And it would send aliens after you to do what precisely?
Oh, in Sims 2, it was just, you had to fight him with a little water gun and it played really scary music. And I think that is enough to deter a child from playing with time so recklessly.
So I looked up, I mean, I'm sure you two know this, the different versions of Nintendogs.
Okay.
Do you know what they are?
Chihuahua and Friends, Lab and Friends, Dalmatian and Friends, Shiba and Friends.
Shiba and Friends is the alternate name, the Japanese name of Lab and Friends, according to the Wikipedia thing I'm looking at.
How many am I miss? What am I missing?
There's a Dalmatian and Friends. It looks like
I said
too.
Dalmatian.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Friends.
I looked. I was looking at Dachshund and Friends.
Dachshund,
which I guess
and
you didn't
Friends.
say.
No, I did not. Are there any
Why
others?
these breeds?
Did
That's
they do?
very
Did they ever do
interesting.
Nintendo cats? It doesn't work as
They
well
have
as Nintendogs.
Nintendogs plus Cats,
Oh,
which was the
that
sequel that came out in. Hold up. Nintendo. I'm clicking on the article right now.
I'm gonna
This
guess
came out
2009.
11.
Fuck.
Wow, that's
2011.
more recent than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
And there's on the cover it says featuring toy poodle.
Nice.
What a dream. I'm just thinking about like whoever came up with Nintendogs being in a board meeting and being like, all right, guys, and like writing Nintendo on the board. And
Yeah.
then just adding a G and an S and putting a $ through the S.
Wait a minute. Did you know? Now, I never thought about this. You know, there was an Apple II computer called the Apple II GS. The GS stood for graphics and sound. So I'm curious. That seems like
Apple
an
IIs.
interesting parallel. Apple II GS. I had an Apple II GS.
So
I'm writing that
after
down.
you got your Nintendo DS, what was the next natural console step for you, Abby?
I mean, I was pretty excited for every DS afterwards. Like the 3DS, I didn't get it right away because I know people were pretty disappointed with it at first, and I think I was like about to start college, or it was just like not a time where I had like a lot of money anyway. And eventually I got it, I think, while I was in college. And there were enough games out that it was great, and I loved my 3DS. And
what
then
color
when
did you have?
So I had the black Zelda one that
Nice.
I loved, and then I let a friend borrow it, and it got stolen. And I was very upset. I know.
Betrayal.
And it also got stolen. I had like 5 shiny stars in what's that, Mario 3D Land, which was just, it was like at the time I was like, I care about this a lot and it's a shame, and now I'm like, who cares?
Of course.
But I eventually got, when New Leaf came out, I got the like New Leaf 3DS, which was exciting.
Oh man, the really cute one with like all the little
Yes.
things on it. Oh,
I think I wound up selling it for when they had the one that had the little like, they had like the extra joystick on it, because I loved the like red, it was like they have like the primary colored buttons for the newest one. They have like the face plates, so it wasn't like a special edition, but I just liked the look of it better, so I think I wound up upgrading. But I love
that
the
makes
3DS
me think
era.
of all of the defunct like Nintendo DS things like PictoChat, but also Street Pass.
Oh,
like,
yeah, Street
I
Pass.
was militant about my Street Pass. Anytime I
yeah.
went to like a convention or was at camp, it was just like, all right, let's fucking go.
Yes, 100%.
Can you, okay, not to keep asking the same question. What is Street Pass?
So the DS or the 3DS could go into like sleep mode, where you would close your 3DS, but you wouldn't turn it all the way off. And I think you could put it in like an actual mode that's like a sleep mode. And then you'd walk around with it in your bag. And then if other people have their 3DSs on them, your Miis will like talk to each other. And when you open your 3DS, it's like, whoa, you got a Street Pass, and you go to the app. And then you like, everybody would line up, everybody you saw or passed by during the day. Then you would talk to them, and they would say little things, and they would like come into your town. And then I think there was like kind of a stripped down RPG you could do with their, is that what it was? Where you would like go through a castle, and depending on who you saw that day, you would like fight stuff. Am I remembering this correctly?
yeah.
I think there was
Oh
like
my
a whole
God.
fighting mechanic with it.
Yeah, I don't fully remember or even what the point of it.
I don't.
It wasn't
I
like
don't
a
know.
real-time fight versus the person. It's like after something
No.
would click on after you pass that person, and then you could do something once
It would
that
be like they would be a
clicked
part
on.
of your like party. So you would be going
Yeah.
through, I think, like a castle or something, and fighting sort of general
Oh, I
Nintendo
see.
baddies. And then if you have like 10 people you street pass that day, I think they could like give you boosts and help out. But I might be misremembering it. But I think there was like a certain combat. Yeah, I think so.
It was more so the excitement of being able to stealthily acknowledge other gamers in the crowd.
Yeah.
Without actually interacting with them.
Without actually interacting, which is
wow,
every
that
game
is
stream.
nerd paradise. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there would be like special
Fake
edition Mii's who
socializing?
would come.
Yeah.
I don't remember how you would get them, but there would be special Mii's sometimes too, which would be like the Nintendo staff. You get like Reggie.
Yeah. Man, it's wild that, you know, I think as with all things like that on consoles that end up being sold to children, there's always some issues that ruin it for everybody where they all get permanently shut down. But it is a shame that, like, considering how much I carry my Switch everywhere, I wish there was just a little something.
Me too.
That's so interesting. It's like introvert paradise, right? Because it's not actual socialization, but still you can say that you were like, quote unquote, hanging out with people.
Yeah.
I think that's a very clever mechanic for a thing designed
Yeah.
for
Well, it was sort of like
people.
that first summer of Pokemon Go, where it was an excuse for a bunch of gamers to go outside
And get hit by cars. Yes.
get hit by cars, etc. But just there was something in the air. It was my first time visiting LA that summer, and so it was a lot of like wandering out until 2 a.m. until all of our phones died trying to catch Pokemon. But that was a special moment, and I know people still play it. It's not the same as that first little wave.
It was special being in the Grump's office during Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
And watching our own Brent Lilly take his phone out and be like, I could go to the gym.
Yes.
You know, or whatever.
Yes. Oh.
That was the first time you visited LA was Pokemon Go time?
Yeah, it was. It was.
That's exciting. That was a good time.
It was a while ago.
That was what, 15, 16?
15, 16, yeah. Somewhere around there.
That's very cool.
But yeah, so I always felt like, so when I was a kid, I went from Nintendo DS to I got all A's in my school year, so I was allowed to pick either a PS2 or a Wii, and the Wii was exciting, so I went with the Wii. I am curious how my gaming trajectory would have been different had I gone for a PS2, but the Wii was like a brand new world of exciting gaming experiences. So after you had your Nintendo DS era, were you like a PC gamer through this? What kind of direction did you spec out in?
I have never been a PC gamer. I still would much rather play on a console. Like, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 now on my PC, and I have to, and I love it.
Is it
but
great?
The game has to be really good for me to like want to sit at a desk for more than like an hour. So it's like that and The Sims, I'll play on the computer basically.
yeah.
But we had
do you mod your Sims?
No, I don't. I keep it pure.
Oh,
I just spend a lot of money getting every single game pack.
I
don't like this is the
respect
thing. I don't like
this.
computers. I don't understand computers. So I'm like, I don't want to mess with like anything that's even close to coding. And that's what modding feels like to me. I'm like, the game's gonna update, things are gonna break, and I won't know what will happen, and I'll be afraid to play my game again. So I just don't mess
so
with
valid.
it. Yeah. But we did have a PS2. We actually had a number of consoles. My folks are also divorced, so we had like different things at my mom's house versus my dad's. So we had our Nintendo 64 at my mom's. We had like a PS2 at my dad's. He also had like a PS1. We had, early Nintendo consoles as well, but I didn't really care about those as much as a kid. I did love the PS2, and I loved the Wii. I also remember the like mad scramble to get a Wii and how hard it was in the early days.
Yeah.
So like when we finally got a Wii, it was like the greatest day. And like we played so much Wii Sports. I have a lot of good memories
absolutely.
of the Wii.
The bowling.
The tennis.
Tennis was the one. I still love Wii Tennis.
Yes. And the Wii Sports Resort somehow made it better. Like the archery, it was so good. The flying. I played a ton of both of those games. That alone made the Wii worth it.
I definitely would cheese the like marathon running one by just sitting there and doing a jerk off motion and being like, I'm exercising.
Yeah, 100%.
What a special thing. I guess and then I missed the boat on Wii U. But I think probably most people miss the boat on Wii U.
I love my Wii U.
I wish
my
I
Wii
had
is
gotten
still
one.
in my TV console.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Aren't
were
they,
your
like-
go-to Wii U
Yeah.
games?
Go
For
ahead.
my go-to Wii U games, I mean, I played Breath of the Wild on Wii U, so that is an easy one. I also played so much Splatoon on the Wii U. Also, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or Mario Kart 8, it wasn't Deluxe then yet. That is such a good game. Like, all the best Switch games, first Wii U games, which I know is like, just play the Switch at this point. But they were good. I loved my Wii U. I also played Wind Waker on the Wii U.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like the re-released version of it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
raining, Brian, for you?
I don't know. Do you want me to go check?
No, you don't. Oh, ew, it's raining. Ugh.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh.
where are you?
Are you sure it's raining?
I'm in Echo. I could see
You're
it
in
with my
LA.
own
It
eyes.
does look kind of rainy. I'm supposed to go to the pool after this. Oh my god. I swear.
A rainy pool is a very nostalgic. That feels in the wheelhouse of playing Nintendo DS.
Oh
with
well,
your
well.
friends.
Here's a rainy pool question for you,
Okay.
Layton. You're from North Carolina. Abby, where did you grow up? Ish.
I've lived all over. So I have lived all over, mostly East Coast.
Okay,
So
mostly East Coast.
Like DC area, Boston, I guess some Texas, Florida.
So I think this will be relevant to you then. When I was a kid, if you were in a pool and it started raining, some adult would come screaming into the vicinity and go, "Everybody out of the pool! Everybody out of the pool!" for lightning reasons. Like if it was just accepted that if you were in the pool and it started to rain, get out of the pool. And that does not seem to be a thing here in California, where it's like, it's probably fine. I mean, it doesn't rain that much during pool season, but
Right.
I don't feel like this is relevant to a
Interesting.
California upbringing.
For me, it was always raining is fine. In fact, being in the pool while it's raining is one of life's greatest pleasures. It was once the thunder and
Because
lightning
what do you
was
do
like
to do?
near.
Get wetter? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I'm gonna swim under the water and look up, and I get to see all the raindrops hitting the surface, and then come up, and it's all like muggy and weird out. It's great. It's awesome. But this is spoken as someone who's never been electrocuted. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my parents were just nervous about it, but I remember this in summer camp
Buzzkills.
too.
No,
is-
we
well, they-
definitely had that as well. It
Yeah.
would be like a mandatory rule, like we saw lightning or we heard thunder, you got to get out of the pool, and you have to wait like 20 minutes to play like four square in your bathing suit until you can
Yep.
get back in the pool again.
Yes, 100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
that feels like the extension of the fish in the pool that come out to bite you, but only when you need to get out of the pool. Same with
Yes.
like, don't swim for 30 minutes after eating or whatever. Like,
Well, that's the best time to swim. Like, and that now I know when you want to go swimming when you're fucking tired, when you've just eaten. It's great.
yeah, you're chilling, especially if you're in a little ja, getting your ja on with the homies.
Wait, what? I don't even know what that means.
The ja?
Hold on. I have to guess. Now, is this Gen Z slang or is this latent slang?
This is our friend group slang.
In the ja, does it short for ninja?
Taking a stew in the ja. I feel like this one's
Oh,
pretty
Okay, it's a
I
jacuzzi.
got it.
It's
Yeah,
a
there we
jacuzzi.
go.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And you don't say koozie. You say ja.
No, you know what? So when we were at Creator Clash and we were all getting ready to leave for the Bahamas, we were all like, we're just going to stew in the Joe with the gamers. And Brent said the exact thing that you just said. And I was just like, no, Brent, you don't get it. Because I'll take any opportunity to dump on Brent because it's
Yes.
funny because he doesn't know how to react to it. He dishes
Yeah.
it out so much and he
This
has no
is-
idea how to take it.
This is our friend and CEO of Game Grumps, Brent Lilly.
Yes.
We're talking about maybe one of
God
one
bless
of
you,
my
Brent.
closest friends and least cool people I know. But
Anyway,
yeah.
ja, great. That's,
Ja.
I don't know if anybody would like to work that into their vocabulary on my behalf. I would greatly appreciate it. Please spread the good word of the
let's
ja.
put it out there. Should we move on to some segments? I think
I guess so.
it feels
We
very
should. Shouldn't we?
segmentable. Yeah. So, everybody, it's time for our first segment on the show. Layden, please don't browse the internet during recording.
Jesus Christ, Brent. I just wanted to see when it was going to stop raining.
It's my
for
new
fuck's sake.
favorite thing is to whenever you're talking to someone on a video call, when you see the lighting change and they get lit because you know they're looking at a browser, is to call them out on it. This is I had a meeting the other day. Oh, it was great.
Now I'm just going to start doing this to fuck with you.
Great. Yeah, just get a light that you turn on over there.
And you know what? I wasn't even doing that in the middle of somebody talking. You were transitioning into a segment, and I was checking the weather for the hour by hour when it's going to stop raining, and also pulling up my Google Keep so I can check for what I wrote down to say during this segment. Would you prefer I say nothing, Brian?
I feel like this is about something else.
It always is.
It always is. Our first segment is our pop culture recommendation segment. This is where you get to talk about a book, a movie, a video game, something you've been enjoying recently. And we say pop culture, but really we mean literally anything. The segment,
extremely unpop culture.
Yeah,
usually.
That's right. It could be pop, it could be unpop, it could be meaty pop. The name of this segment is called What's Poppin', and the theme song, which we add in post because I don't have the ability to play it now, goes here.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? So, I have no further questions. Leighton, what's poppin'?
What's poppin' for me is that, so I think I've mentioned this on this show before, but for the longest time, speaking of lost media, a big thing that has been a hubbub on the internet is this place called McCamey Manor.
Oh my God.
Has been, shut up.
What?
It's been considered.
No, it terrifies me. That's why I said, oh my God, not because
Well, that's great.
Okay,
so,
great.
It's been purported to be the world's most extreme haunted house. Like the guy on Dark Tourist went and did it and tapped. Like the whole thing is that most people tap out within 60 seconds. There's, all of this. There's a waiver that was leaked that was like, you're going to have crazy bugs put on you. We're going to rip out your fingernails. And, all these people come out of doing it and they're like, I am severely traumatized. Like they broke my bones. This is really fucked up.
What?
This has to be shut
They
down.
what,
Yes.
my bones?
Broke.
How
their
is that
bones.
legal?
Excellent
You
question,
can't just
Abby.
sign a waiver that's like, it's okay to break my bones.
It's okay to kill me. Well, I signed a waiver.
I signed a waiver.
So,
Yeah, and so it's been an object of fascination because nobody's ever, quote unquote, beaten it, and they're very lock and key about what happens. And McCamey Manor, Russ McCamey, the guy who runs it, films everything, and he tells the people that are doing it that he's live streaming to a group of people that we don't know. And he'll post like these really edited versions, so you don't actually see what's happening. You just see the person being tortured a bit with like really extreme horror movie music. Anyway, so anytime there is any new piece of information about McCamey Manor, I am all over it because it's been a slow trickle for years and years and years. So this YouTuber, Reckless Ben, released this several-part series called Infiltrating McCamey Manor.
Oh my.
And it's incredible.
I
Okay.
want to watch it.
It
Yeah, me too.
solves what McCamey Manor is.
It does?
Yes.
Whoa.
He goes in, he films all of it. He gets access to what was live streamed. And to spoil it, McCamey Manor doesn't fucking exist.
Okay, this makes sense to me.
Real? Okay, yeah.
So
Amazing.
basically the whole thing is like Russ endlessly moving these goalposts on people. But the whole thing is that the live stream part is that it's a fucking fetish live stream. It's like
What?
struggle porn fetish shit. And he
What's
keeps
struggle
moving the goal.
porn? Not to get too
Oh,
deep
God.
into this.
Oh, well, surely.
Is it people
surely
like struggling
all-
to be like, I can't open a box?
Yeah, no, that's literally what it is.
Really?
It's anybody like a big point because in this series, Reckless Ben like interviews a dominatrix, and she's like, there are like 10 different fetishes in this. Like they cover his face with paint.
Yeah,
Like
paint struggling,
it's-
sure.
Yeah, and the guy is a professional slackliner, an athlete, and so he's in really great shape. He trains for it, and what they make him do all day is like really intense physical exercise while being like, you're gonna have to find a key, and then rats are gonna fall on you, and even then, like, you're not gonna make it into the manor. And so, like, he flies all this way to come do it, and
This
for
is
8 hours,
the
they
Ben,
just like
Ben is a
the YouTuber.
slackliner. He's
Yeah.
the slack. Okay.
And they like don't let him in. And so, not to be deterred by this, the guy gets his other friend who's also a professional athlete who also does crazy shit for fun and sends him in. And he's begging Russ. He's like, but where are the scorpions? That's fun for me. come on, you pepper spray me. And Russ is like, no, and starts arguing with him and makes him leave. And basically, like, the level of investigative reporting that the guy keeps going into to like dig further into this, the videos keep getting taken down by the people at McCamey Manor.
This is amazing.
It's incredible. So what's popping for me is Reckless Ben's series on that. I would love to have him on the channel. I'm going to email him.
Yes, please do.
But also, he has another series about him infiltrating Scientology. And it's fantastic. It's like, it feels like it was all shot in 2011. It feels very old school because it's like clearly with the Scientology series that's a little older, it's like dude and his roommates at UCLA just like getting a film credit by making a series of infiltrating Scientology.
I didn't realize YouTube had an infiltration vertical. That's pretty great.
But every step of the way, like, it just feels so guided by like, what can I best do to be a little stinker right now? Like, it's such chaotic, evil journalism, and I appreciate that deeply.
That's amazing. Wait, so the videos have been taken down and they keep popping up?
So this was an easy $5 for me. The guy Reckless Ben put the one episode that's been taken down on his Patreon, along with like, you know, behind the scenes stuff from it, because they just they just insert like crazy stunts into the videos too, because again, he's a professional slackliner. And so, you know, at every step of the way, it's just like a fun, interesting new little, I just like am so blown away by this channel. I'm sorry to gush, but
let me see. Okay, so if I understand properly, the whole thing is just the lead up to McCamey Manor. There's no place to go. It's just a way of putting people through some initial whatever struggle.
Yeah.
That is then shown to people who are into that sort of thing as a fetish.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow.
And because
so
he's moved states a couple of times, because back originally the manor was in San Diego, and apparently back then it was actually more of a thing. But since he's moved to, I want to say, Tennessee. Oh, the biggest bombshell drop is that so the only thing that you need to do to get in other than travel is you need to donate a bag of dog food for his greyhounds. And he's like, you need to go get it from the Walmart that's over this way. There's one right next to my house. Do not go to that Walmart. And so then goes to that Walmart, and he films himself asking the people working there, like, hey, do you know anything about McCamey Manor? And they're all like, oh yeah, Russ works here.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Susie and I watched this on my birthday, and we were both just like,
this is
jaws
amazing.
on the floor screaming. Yeah, I truly cannot recommend it enough. Not only should you go watch it, please give money to his Patreon. Like, I can't believe he only has 200,000 subs or something. It's like, how are you not huge right now?
And it's a fetish thing. I guess it was in the name the whole time. McCame me. We should have seen it coming.
Good work.
Thank you.
But I also can't believe that I didn't think about that possibility for years of being deep in this, just because it's so prosaic. I assumed that it was like a torture thing, but it's not really torture. It's just like stress test stuff, or like, you know, we're going to dump pain on your face, or the dominatrix that they talk to really helpfully points out that like they're also, as they're doing this to you, they're like, you haven't even done anything yet. We're not even doing anything to you. And that's part of it. So
it's fascinating. Yeah. So the people who are saying that like their fingers were getting broken, were they like perpetuating the lie that it's a haunted house, or did they actually get their fingers broken?
People have definitely actually gotten hurt, because they are very rough. Like they do fish hooking, or like they drag you around by your mouth. So there is like a good level of actual harm being done.
No, thank you.
But at least for this guy, who I think he knew was going to do somewhat of an, you know, a deep, like, I don't know, it goes much deeper. More episodes are coming out. I can't fucking wait. I love it, because clearly this guy is not to be deterred every step of the way, where it's like, and I guess the series would be over here. It's just like, here's a new devious scheme that I've come up with to ruin this man.
I also work at Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Reckless Ben McCamey Manor, this is maybe one of my most emphatic what's poppin'.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Excellent work. All right, Abby, what's poppin'?
My gosh, this is a hard one to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the pop culture that I like to recommend to people is Marian Engel's book Bear. It's one of my favorite books. It's a quick read. I guess all you need to know about it is, well, I think it's a really beautiful book, but I think that the hook that gets people into it, this is a book, I think it was written in the 70s. And It's banned in a lot of places. It's about this librarian who she is maybe like a little shy or a little introverted, and she's assigned to go catalog all these books in this like octagonal house in the Canadian wilderness. And then there is a sort of semi-tame bear that lives on the property. Anyway, long story short, she fucks the bear, but it's a really good book.
Excellent.
And it's more beautiful than that. But I think that's like, you have to know like the whoa, crazy hook. Then you have to read it and be like, oh no, this is lovely.
That sounds awesome. But who's it by again?
Marion Engel, I believe is her name. It's good. It's not too long either. It's a pretty quick read.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm a big fan though.
I will read the shit out of that.
Good. Okay, let me know what you think.
Yeah, we'll do. Brian, what is popping?
Well, what's popping for me this week? It's an old album, but not as old as I usually go. This is from 2005. It is Fat Lip's album, The Loneliest Punk. So if you don't know Fat Lip, he was a rapper from started out in the Far Side, the rap group, and this album, it is just so great. It has probably the biggest hit ever, like hip hop hit about being depressed and unhappy with yourself, called What's Up Fat Lip. And so he has this kind of like sad clown sort of persona, and the video is like him getting like ridiculed by children and riding around on like a tiny bike and just looking sad, and it's so great. That was like, I think, the big single off the album. I mean, name another like, hip hop song about being just sort of depressed and lying to people that you're okay. It's amazing. There's another song on the album called Writer's Block, which is about having writer's block and how it should be so simple because all he needs to do is rap about what he's thinking, but he still can't come up with anything. And
Relatable.
The production on it is great. It's very synth heavy, lots of great synths and keyboards. There's a song with Shock G from Digital Underground, aka Humpty Hump. Humpty Hump's my name. That's Shock G. I love this album so much. It is like the production is just fantastic, and the writing's just very funny and emotionally honest in a way that I feel like you don't. I mean, I think this is less true now than it was in 2005. Sorry, more true now than it was in 2005, but or more or less. What am I trying to say? It was harder to be emotionally honest, at least in hip hop in 2005, than it is now. And I love everything about this album. Charlie Tuna is on one of the songs. It's got a bunch of cool people who were like, big at the time, and some of whom remain big. But really worth listening to. The Loneliest Punk by Fat Lip. The chorus of What's Up Fat Lip goes, "Who am I kidding? Who am I fooling? They say, what's up Fat Lip? And I say, coolin'." So it's all just about how he's lying to people that everything's great. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Speaking of sad clowns, we should get back to watching The Sopranos with Jory, which,
yes.
The idea of the sad clown is a recurring thing.
Well, you weren't with us for this one episode, but I recently recommended a show with Michael Imperioli in it, who plays
White Lotus?
No, it's This Fool, which is on Hulu. It's like a sitcom about working class LA, and he plays a quote unquote minister at like a ex-con like rehab program called Hugs Not Thugs. It's great. It's very funny. It's supposed to be stupid. Like
I'll watch him in anything.
He's great, but
especially if he's just fucking cooking the shit out of it on Chopped, and everybody in the room wants to fuck him. Great.
Well, part of there's a subplot. I'm not going to give anything away in This Fool where people wanting to fuck Michael Imperioli plays a big role.
It's only natural, baby.
It's only natural.
God, I wish I was wearing my Christopher Moltisanti shirt today and not my Homebody shirt. By the way, you can get Homebody on Switch, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, wherever you get your games. You should buy it.
Get your games.
Thanks.
Segment 2.
Segment 2, final segment. It's time for our final segment, which is called Peaches and Lemons, which is the 3-part gratitude exercise and 1 part petty grousing. And the theme song goes right here.
Peaches and lemons. Peaches and lemons.
God, that theme song fucking sucks.
I like it.
No,
I could hear
it's
it, and I
bad.
also have opinions on it.
Oh,
Good,
well,
I'm
actually,
glad.
can I ask you,
No,
Abby?
no,
Hold on. One sec,
no.
Layden. So, regarding the What's Poppin' theme song, if you were to have heard
We're
it,
talking
what do
about
you
the
think-
Peaches and Lemons theme song, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Hold on. If you were to have heard the What's Poppin' theme song, what do you think you would have thought of that one?
What do I think I would have thought of it, or what would I have expected it to sound like?
Both.
I feel like on a lot of podcasts, sometimes I feel like it's either like the music rocks or the music sounds
Thank you.
so generic and I can't wait for it to be over. Mm-hmm. And doesn't seem to fit at all. But I feel like it usually depends on how long the podcast has been going on for. So I guess that's all to say. I think I would expect it to be kind of a short, hopefully under 10 seconds, little ditty that is like high energy for What's Poppin', but not too high energy.
I
You
think
know?
that's a perfect description, honestly. That's pretty
Okay.
much what it is. It sounds like this. Here, I'll play it for you.
What's poppin'? Fucking unbelievable.
What's Poppin'?
I can't believe you would fucking
That's what
do
it sounds
this.
like.
Cool. Cool.
Cool.
That was
Great.
not what I was envisioning, I will say.
Well, we
Are we
aim
not
to
fans of
surprise
it?
and
Is this a-
please.
It was also so
Oh.
goddamn loud, Brian.
I can't control that except for the volume on it.
I'm gobsmacked.
Here, this is
I'm
better.
gobsmacked.
This should be quieter.
Oh, so not only can he play it at will, he can control the volume. Listeners, I hope you take note of this and remember this.
I
And
don't,
whip out this clip.
unfortunately, have the ability to play that or control the volume.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, king.
That's what I do.
Can we
As
do
you
the
told me
last
the
thing?
other day,
Can-
Layton, that's enough.
All right. Well, we're each going to start with a lemon, which is a thing that is a minor bummer or grievance or annoyance or, something similar to what we all just watched happen here today. I'll go first because there's a lemon that I want to say, but I cannot air publicly. That
Oh.
I texted Brian frantically about as an update on my lemon
Oh,
from
this.
the other week.
Yes.
Brian, would you concede that the lemon that I want to do is incredibly funny and ridiculous?
Yes. Is there any way you can talk about it in broad? Can we describe a fantasy situation which is similar to that lemon?
But legally distinct from that lemon? No, I don't think we can. It's already, you know me, I am legitimately conflict averse, and I found myself stepping in the middle of a conflict. And it was a
Well-
very stupid conflict. Actually, also, no, I did not start this conflict. I was not one bringing the heat on this conflict. I just want that to be known, even though the conflict in question is not known. I didn't do shit.
Here, I'm going to discuss it in broad brush strokes.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a lemon tree that grows outside my house, and I asked for the city to put the lemon tree there, and they put the lemon tree there. And then one day I woke up, and the lemon tree was gone. Someone had come in and ripped it out of the ground, and so I called the city and I said, "Hey, can I get another lemon tree?" And the city said, "Yes, of course. We can only do a few of those, but you get one a year. So here's your lemon tree." So they come, they put another lemon tree in. The next day I wake up and the lemon tree is gone. And so I text my block. We have a group text with people on the block. And I'm like, "Hey, does anyone know what happened to my lemon tree?" And my neighbor, who lives across the street, said, "Oh yeah, I didn't think you really wanted it. So I ripped it out and gave it to someone down the street." And I was like, "Why would you do that?" And she was like, "What the fuck is your problem, idiot?"
Oh, I don't know if we can keep that in, but that is the perfect summation of what happened.
I think we can keep that in because it's my story.
Well, no, see, because this is my living situation and we're already, as you know, dealing with somebody who is not exactly reasonable. And I don't necessarily want to create a further hostile environment by airing it on my show that they, probably wouldn't listen to, but knowing my luck.
Right.
Anyway, so that's not my lemon. I was just mentioning that I have a lemon that is really funny and good that I just can't talk about. My actual lemon is that I filmed some stuff with Jory at the office in real life the other day. And it's one thing when we're, fuck that guy. When we're on our webcams doing our little podcast, I'm fine doing on-camera stuff. The moment it is on a set with a real camera, all my brain cells fall out of my ears. And, you know me and Jory. We're both pretty charming and agreeable and charismatic people. We were struggling. So if any of you end up seeing... that's not true. I'm sure it's fine.
You guys are great on camera, though.
Like we were struggling. So anyway, if anybody sees homebody promos with me and Jory on social media or on the Grubs channel, it's just I haven't seen any of them yet, or if they are done. But I never feel good about it. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine.
I think you and Jory are both fantastic on camera, and
Thanks.
I'm sure they're great.
It's just sweat, like set lights and, real professional camera. Someone is going to be paid to edit this. And here's my face. And I did my makeup. Does my makeup look okay? Do I look okay? Do I sound okay? Please give me approval. All right. Well, that's my lemon. It's hot and I'm getting punchy, as always happens when we record at this time of day. Someone else do a lemon.
Abby, do you have a lemon?
Sure. My lemon is going to be that it's been really hot in LA and it's been sunny and it's been like inescapable. I live on the top floor, so my apartment is especially hot. And I've been very excited for my pool day today. And if it's going to be raining on the one day I go to the pool,
it's
I'm going
bullshit.
to be a little bit annoyed. I want it to be sunny and scorching hot weather. I want that pool to be so refreshing, and I want there to be no other water in sight, because that's why there's the pool. And that's why the pool is necessary. So that's my lemon.
Love it.
Thank you.
Brian, what is your
I'm
lemon?
just checking my app that says it is raining here too.
What the hell?
So, there you go.
Fucking rude. He's
Always
so
fucking
rude
rains
today.
in LA. Okay, here's my lemon, and I there's one skill I wish I possessed that I honestly think is something we should teach everybody in school these days, and it is file management. And what am I doing with my files? Like, I have no coherent system for how I'm supposed to organize them. And I have, like, by some measure, decades of files. So somewhere I have old files that I can't even read anymore because they're on like 3.5-inch floppies. So fuck those. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about I have a hard drive looking at right now, which has files from probably up to 15 years ago. And I need to back this thing up. And I have backed it up, but I don't want to do it unless it's like well organized. But the idea of going back and like going through these files and like trying to figure out some kind of organizational system is it's like the most daunting thing in terms of a problem I have to solve that I can think of right now. And I have literally no idea what a good way of doing it is. I don't know. I don't need to fucking optimize it. I'm not waiting for the perfect way. I just want like a half decent way. A way where I will be able to find stuff I want to find and know what's on it. And I have no idea how to do it. Like, I can dump shit into folders, but it's not the macro thing of like, oh, it's this thing, go in that folder. Well, what am I doing? And and it's also the kind of thing that if I knew how to do it well to begin with, I wouldn't be in this situation now. It's like taxes. Like, if you start saving receipts, it's not going to be so bad if you do a little bit at a time. Now that I'm looking at 15 years of fucking data that I have to like organize and back up, every time I think about doing it, I drag like one file into a folder and I'm like, oh my God. And then I just have to stop. I hate it so much. I wish I was better at it. And I think teaching basic like file management would be a huge resource. Someone, by the way, that's very good at this is our producer Jarek, because a big part of being like any kind of graphic design or like music or stuff like that, you have to be able to go find old projects that you did. And it's a big part of that. I think he learned that in school, and I never did. I wish I did, and I'm mad at myself for being bad at it. That's my one.
See, I think my system of saving, this is the thing final, this is the thing final too, this is the thing final, actual final, works just fine.
Yes.
And my desktop, you don't even want to see it because you can't see it because it's covered in icons. It's a mess. Because I'm a messy bitch who lives for drama, but only within my file folders. That's exactly
how I describe you, yes. Okay, moving on.
All right, now it's time for Peaches, where we each say 3 things that have happened or are going to happen that are fun, good, nice, exciting, what have you. I can go first because I'm pretty quick with my Peaches. Number 1, I had a lovely birthday last week, at which I spent canceling a plan and then hanging out with Susie, and we had a deep conversation for like 4 hours, and we ate some cheesecake, and we watched those McCamey Manor videos, and it was it was like my first actually good birthday that was free of random environmental stressors for the first time in years. It was great. My second peach is, my lemon involved filming in real life and being twitchy and nervous about it. But that filming with Jory in real life also involved us putting fake blood on ourselves. And that was really, really fun.
There's
just something about fake blood that's so satisfying to me.
Yep.
Even though I was blowing it out of my nose for like 2 days afterwards, because as is the nature of fake blood. So yeah, that was good. Highly recommend. Fake blood. Super great. Fun to put on your friends. Fun for your friends to put on you. Fun to get all over the Grumps bathroom on drop sheets and feel like Patrick Bateman. Rules. My final peach is that the aforementioned Jory and I have begun working on another project together.
Oh, what?
Yes. And
scoop.
I can't say shit other than another hole-in-one. It's shaping up to be a good one. And I'm just stoked. The creative energy after months of rotting in my bed. It's very energizing. It's great. So, hooray, creative
Is it
stuff.
the idea I've been pitching you forever, which is Jory Simulator?
Now, what happens in Jory Simulator?
Well, how mean should I be here?
What if you tried the radical approach of not calling Jory a piece of shit on this show for once?
What happens is you're
and
the
not
best.
claiming that he's like an alt-right. No, none of that today.
I would never, lady.
Fuck off.
What? That I am offended by the implication that I have anything but the highest regard for Jory.
I want the super cut of Brian slandering Jory Griffiths on this show.
That is an AI fake of me saying mean things about Jory. What happens in the Jory Simulator is you're a super genius and ultra talent who is a generally wonderful person. That's what happens in the Jory Simulator.
Huh. Brian, what are your peaches?
My peaches. Okay. Peach number 1. I recently got a new audio interface for this computer, and I set it up, and it didn't work. And after about 2 solid days of fucking with it, it suddenly started working today. Why? Couldn't tell you. What am I doing differently? Nothing that I know. But I am hearing audio from my computer and putting audio into it, as evidenced by the fact that you two can hear me right now. So it's working. I wish I knew why, so I can fix it when it will stop. And it, mark my words, it will stop working because it's a piece of audio equipment. But at least for right now, everything's great. Peach number 2, and I don't think I can give a specific on this, but I have a release date for my upcoming solo smooth jazz album, which is sometime in November of this year. I don't think I can say what it is yet.
Much to be grateful for.
Abby, I'll show you the cover. I have to edit this out because I haven't released it yet, but this is it.
Amazing. Is it releasing on vinyl? I want one.
It is releasing on vinyl and cassette. I'm doing vinyl and cassette only. No CDs.
I forget that cassette's coming back. People love their little cassettes. Vinyl makes sense to me. Cassettes not so much. But hey, enjoy your nostalgia, I guess.
I did 2-tone cassettes. I'm very excited. Yeah. So that's exciting because that has been in the works for a very long time, and to finally have a date on it is great. And my final, I feel like I might have talked about this one. You know what? Fuck it.
It's not like we've ever repeated ourselves on this show.
Yeah, but it might be in successive weeks. I apologize if I already said this one. I am in a couple weeks going on a dad-daughter trip with my 9-year-old to Las Vegas, Nevada. And we are going to go to Meow Wolf and go see shows. There's somebody who advertises themselves as, quote, a pet magician, which I'm very excited about. I might take her to see Katy Perry. I don't know. So I think we're going to do some fun Vegas stuff, go swimming in cool, exciting pools, and do fun things that a kid would do. I've had a couple people question the wisdom of taking a 9-year-old to Las Vegas, but I have many other parent friends who have done it recently with their similarly aged children, and they're like, they're like, as long as you're not walking down the strip during flyer time, it's great. So.
Yeah, and she's weirdly good at crafts. Like, I don't know how.
That's right. Well, yeah. Well, we have that full-sized practice table.
Lady Luck shines on her.
Yeah.
While you're there,
yeah.
could you, if you see anything that reminds you of my obsession with Fallout New Vegas, would you be so kind as to take a photo or?
Can you send me a mood board or something that would give me something to go on? Because I don't really know anything.
About Fallout
Think of
New
a lot
Vegas?
of browns and bottle caps.
Think about
zoot
cowboys.
suits.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It's just Fallout but cowboy, and yeah, it's the greatest. This
I'll
is
see what
I want
I
a
can do.
visualization of all 183 episodes of this show, and I want a color in of how many episodes I mentioned Fallout New Vegas in.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a dramatic.
It's most.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So yeah, I'm excited to go to Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas we played a show there 4 years ago, something like that. And that was probably the last time, and I'm very excited. Also, I think this will be my final of the 3 main Meow Wolves that I haven't seen yet. So I'm excited to see that one too, aka Omega Mart. So.
Oh shit! I love the promotional stuff for Omega Mart. It's really awesome.
All the Meow Wolf stuff rules. So.
I respect it.
Yeah. All right. Those are my
Good peaches. Abby,
Okay.
what
My
are your
turn for
peaches?
my peaches.
Yeah, go off.
Okay, my first peach. My girlfriend is on a business trip, and she gets back today. She's flying right now, so excited to see her. That'll be nice. My second peach. I had surgery 6 weeks ago today. It was abdominal surgery. So if you've had abdominal surgery before, you know that like you can't lift anything above 15 pounds for 6 weeks. So I'm free. That was like the last step of like things I couldn't do. I can do anything now. I can start deadlifting. I can do whatever I want. I can lift up my fat cat again. So
yeah, and 15 pounds is like not that heavy. So that's pretty restrictive, right?
Yeah, you can't do laundry. You can't take out the trash. Can't get groceries. Like it really sucks.
Yeah,
so
I bet.
I'm happy to be free.
Congrats
Well,
on
congratulations.
healing up too. I'm sure.
Thank you.
That feels good.
Yeah, no, for sure. My third good thing, I'm going to say being on this podcast. I'm having a lovely time, and thank you for having me.
I'm so glad. And what a nice way to transition into the end of the episode. This has been like so low. I've had like such a low energy day leading up to this, and it's always great when we have a record where I just am in a significantly better mood. So thank you so much for joining us, and
this was great.
Being so gracious with your time. It's really nice to meet you and to get to chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to check out that fetish haunted house.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You should
Can't wait
also
to be a part of it.
If you want a Steam key for Homebot or whatever you play on, I would be happy to shoot you one if you want to check it out. Just because
I would
I'll
love to.
on everyone.
I wanted to say something at the time, but when I said it was right there all along, McCamey Manor, and you, Abby, said, "Good job," in a very dismissive way. I thought that was one of the funniest things that's happened on this show. I love not only failing at bits, but also having someone call them out as just bad. So I wanted to thank you for that extremely dismissive good job.
No
and I am not saying that in a passive aggressive way. I
No, that's
honestly
his
love it.
favorite
I get
thing. I think some of the best moments of this show are when I say something incredibly dismissive to Brian and then it makes him
I
laugh really
believe
hard.
you gave me a So True King a couple months ago that has stayed with me for a
was
while.
so disingenuous. Okay.
It was a passing So True King. Anyway, and
Anyway, back to what I was saying.
yes.
So another thing that we didn't note as it happened is that your beautiful cat walked past earlier and I made a face and then I didn't ask about the cat. So please tell me about this beautiful beast that is sprawling.
He is just out in the open. That's Tater Tot. He is
Oh,
my
Tater
senior citizen of a
Tot.
cat. He's
That's a great cat
gonna be
name.
16 in the new year. Can you believe it? So
Wow.
he's an old man. I've had him since high school, which is insane. Because when you're a high schooler begging for a cat, you don't expect to have that cat into your 30s, and yet here we are.
Yeah. Full name, Tater Tot?
Full name is Tater Tot. Well, I guess Tater Tot Russell is what the vet calls him. but
Sure, right.
Yeah, Tater Tot.
Wow. What are
Just call
the
him
like?
Tater most of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask like the shortening of a dog or
I
cat
call him
name
Tater.
is-
I call him Stinky. Call him Little Buddy. Call him Little Man. Those are usually the go-tos.
Yep.
I love that. I really appreciate
Great.
that anytime I see an animal in public, I just go full, it's just a little guy. He's a
Exactly.
special little fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I told this story. I'm not going to go into detail because I just told it on a mini episode, but I did. The only time I haven't said that is when I watched some guy's dog in Best Buy piss on a bunch of Roblox gift cards yesterday. So that was that's a special little guy. That was a clean up after your fucking dog, bro.
That was a naughty little
moment.
guy.
Yeah, that was a naughty little guy.
That's an anti-gamer little guy, as
That's
he should
right.
be.
How dare
Anyway.
that pug pee on Roblox? There were $10 gift cards too.
Yeah, and now you know that some child is going to excitedly receive a Roblox gift card
Yeah,
that
coated
they
in
can
pug
spend on
piss.
their Roblox girlfriend, and yeah, it will have a faint whiff of piss to it.
Well, I think one of the Roblox mini games is moving shit out of a urine stream of a pug.
I think there's more than one of those.
Yeah.
Anyway, Abby, if people want to check out your stuff online or pop into your streams, where can they find you?
So my username across everything is YBBAAABBY. You can just search Abby Russell. It's much easier. When I made that username, I was like, it's available everywhere. And I know why, because it's
But why-
annoying to say.
Why is that hard for people to understand? It's just your name backwards and then forwards.
Exactly. I don't know. I think because they want to read it aloud. They want it to have, like, my thing is it's not designed to be read aloud. It is something that it just
Right.
works on paper and
The
does not
dream
have a
of all
spoken word
text.
component. Yes.
Yes.
But people want to say it aloud, and it's just, you can't do it. It goes against God.
I love it.
Wonderful. Well, folks at home, I believe the last time that I recorded this show, my parting words were just don't. So I'm going to shake it up and
Great.
say, everyone at home, do.
Do.
Goodbye.
Great. Bye. Do the do.
No, don't. It was simple.
Don't say don't. You said don't. I thought.
Fuck off.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Late Night is produced by Brian Wecht, Leighton Gray, and Jarek Centeno. Follow us on Twitter at Leighton Night, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at leightonnight@gmail.com.